Welcome back to Off the Monster. My name is Derek. I'm here with Jeremy, Mr. Brown, and guess who's back? Mr. Taylor's finally come out of his hole and he's made it back on here with us. And we're gonna open, and the best way we can, we're opening with the stats and chats. This is gonna be a two-part stats and chats. At least this part of stats and chats. We might get to something a little bit later. But first, Mr. Taylor, how does it feel to be back?
It feels good to be back. I miss my brothers. I watched the last couple of podcasts that you guys did. Enjoyed it tremendously. I have to say my mustache is better than Wink's, because that was a point of contention for me when I listened to the last one. I understand that my company 37 Ronin also sponsored the last podcast. We'll sponsor this one too. But it's great to be back, guys. It's good to see everyone.
Off the Monster officially sponsored by 37 Ronin. So all right, let's not waste any time. Let's dive straight into the stats and chats. Like I said, it's a it's a two-part. So actually, before we start, we're gonna actually welcome a guest in before we start our stats and chats. So here we go. Special guest incoming any second.
Noma,
Here we go.
it's not Noma.
Dave O'Brien.
We got our special guest.
It's Dave O'Brien.
Jumping on right at the right time. We're about to start stats and chats.
It's Dave O'Brien.
Been here before.
Hey guys.
Jason's been here before, so if
he takes off the glasses, he's Dave O'Brien. But if he puts on the glasses, he's just Jason.
Yes, he's been here before, so if you missed that one of the other episode we did with him, check it out. But let's dive straight into stats and chats. That is a two-part stats and chats. So we'll start with this. The stats and chats is two parts. I'll give you both questions, answer them one at a time. This year in Major League Baseball, how many jersey numbers from 0 all the way up to 99 have not been worn by a single player this year? And what numbers are those numbers that haven't been worn?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that entire thing again?
So this year in Major League Baseball, what numbers have not been worn by a single player on any day, in any game, even on a roster this year? So what numbers have not been worn by a player this year in a game? And which numbers are those numbers? So we'll start with the first part. How many numbers have not been worn this year?
From 0 to 99?
Across all 30 MLB teams. It's
5.
not 5. It's not 5. 5 is close, though.
I'll go 8.
It's not 8.
8.
6.
Lucky
6.
number 7.
It's 6.
Let's go.
Jason, so that's the first one. That's the easy part of the question. Now, can you tell me which 6 numbers have not been worn from 0 to 99 at all this season? Have not been worn
I've
by
got one.
anyone.
I've got one for sure.
No,
42. 42.
No, that's worn every day, once
40,
a year.
42 was worn on Jackie Robinson Day.
Oh,
97.
97 has been worn.
What?
93.
Hold on 1 sec. 97 is worn by Ron Marinaccio of the Yankees. 93, Yimi Garcia wears number 93 of the Toronto Blue Jays.
That doesn't count. Come
84.
84 is worn by 3 players: Albert Abreu of the Yankees, Dylan Cease, and JT Chargois of the Marlins.
Has 0 been worn?
Yes, 0 is worn by 7 players, including guys like Marcus Stroman, Adam Ottavino, and Andres Jimenez.
Yeah.
Yep.
98.
98 is not worn, has not been worn by any big leaguers this year. So you got one, it's 98.
86.
86 has also not been worn this year by any big leaguers.
50.
So say what numbers you're going to say?
53.
53 has been worn.
73.
73 has also been worn.
Bastards.
53 has been worn by 12 players this year.
God damn.
Dear God.
Oh, damn.
76.
76 has been worn by 4 players this year. Zach Kelly actually was
Zach
worn
Kelly.
76. So yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, 4 numbers left.
87.
87 has been worn by 2 players. Jose De Leon and Tyler Holton.
Oh.
Yeah, this gets hard. You're in the right
91.
vicinity. 91
Oh.
has been worn by 4 players this year, including G-Man Choi.
G-Man Choi wears 91.
80. G-Man Choi is still playing. 80.
80 has not been worn this season. So that's 3 numbers. So you have
86.
80. We already guessed 86.
Oh,
So
88 then.
80, 86, and 98 have all not been worn. Those are 3 you got. 88 has been worn by 2 players this year, including Luis Robert Jr.
Luba.
Oh, wow.
Bob.
How did I forget that? Yeah.
Luis Robert, yeah. I still say Robert because I like it. Like to.
Yeah.
I like
89.
Robert. Tanner
89
Houck.
is worn by Tanner Houck.
Yeah,
Although
nope.
he is the only 89 in the league.
How many more numbers are we looking for?
There's
60
3 more.
63.
63 has been worn.
63.
The lowest
Damn
number
it.
out of this group is 80, which you've already guessed.
Oh, crap.
Holy.
Yeah.
All right. 94.
94 has not been worn by anyone this season.
Let's
All right.
go.
I'm in the game here. Yeah.
How about
Yeah.
100?
You can't wear 100.
Eh.
From 0 to 99.
Well, I tried.
81.
81 has been worn this season by 3 players.
How do you find this shit, dude?
It's literally on Baseball Reference.
Yeah.
They literally have every single number
we
that's
guess-
been worn this year and every single player that has worn that number as well.
Did we guess 95 already?
90, I don't know if you guessed 95 or not, but it's not a right answer. Oswaldo Cabrera wears 95 for the Yankees.
He needs to change that.
So there's
have-
3 left. There's 3
There's
left
2
in there
left.
between
There's-
8.
There's 2 left.
Well,
They're
the
between-
problem with the Yankees, you can only have so many numbers because like every number is
Yes.
retired, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There-
True.
okay. There is 1 number left in the 80s and 1 number left in the 90s.
84.
Oh, shit.
84 is not a correct answer. It's been worn. And it was already guessed.
Okay.
I don't think we've done 5.
82
way,
is a
84.
correct answer.
82. Nice.
So
82
people,
is not-
so wait, hear me out. People were 81, but not 80 or 82. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, they want that Aaron Hernandez number.
Hey. Oh, actually, I know no one's guessed it, but we all know everyone that players were 99. There have been this year 10 players wear the number 99 this year.
Oh, wow.
So that's a little interesting. And also
92.
the highest.
All right.
Did you say 92?
Mhm.
That is a incorrect
Yeah.
answer. Genesis Cabrera of the Cardinals wears number 92.
He's got to change that as well. No excuse.
Yeah, it's, I said 1 in the 80s, 1 in the 90s. You got the 1 in the 80s. You can just go through the numbers in the 90s and get it.
I know,
I-
but I'm trying to think of what we already guessed. I think we guessed 97.
No way,
that's
it's
that's
95.
95 was Oswaldo Cabrera, 97 is Ron Marinaccio.
Yeah.
You guess both of
Yeah.
both of those.
Yeah.
96.
So
96 is the correct answer.
nice.
So when you
So
go to the
this-
big leagues, you know which number to get.
So the numbers that have not been worn this year are 80, 82, 86, 94, 96, and 98. And then another interesting thing is 2 numbers are tied for being the most worn across the big leagues. Those numbers are number 2 and number 22. Both are worn by 22 players across the league this year.
Hey,
So-
speaking of jersey numbers, I saw a video the other day from Trevor Bauer. He's playing in Japan right now. I saw players with triple digits numbers.
Yes.
In
So
Japan?
in Japan, what happens is because they normally have less than 100 guys on between the big leagues and the minor leagues, everyone gets the same number whether they're in the big leagues or the minor leagues. But sometimes they maybe have more than 100 guys, so that's where you get the triple digits.
It looked fucking weird. It really did. I see guys who's pitching next to him, and the jersey number was 136, and I'm like, what? I was like, where in
People
the
are
hell
hitting
did
the
you
shit out of Trevor Bauer.
Yes,
He's
they
getting
are.
getting
Yes,
awful.
Yes, they are.
And
They
what's
send him down
wacky
to the
too is
minors.
he's one of the highest paid players over there. And we say that
He
he's
is.
making like
Wow.
4.5 million, I think, there, or 4 million.
wow.
He's one of the highest paid players.
See, in Japan, they can send him down, whereas in the major leagues, we can't send down Kluber.
Yes.
But
But we can put him in the bullpen
At least he's in the bullpen.
with Pavetta.
Yes.
Right.
Everyone
Exactly.
knows
With-
it's just to justify the signing. Everyone knows.
Yes. Yes.
If you beg
yeah,
for it on
definitely.
Twitter, it will happen.
So why
I think a
hasn't it
lot more
happened
people are
yet?
begging for him to be DFA'd, not put in the bullpen.
I mean, they're going to run out of room eventually.
I think though they got to keep him right now. Though the depth in AAA has not been good this year. Matt
But
has
they're going to
been
get.
injured.
They're going to
and
continue to
struggled.
get guys back off the DL.
Walter's been bad. Murphy's a lot. Talked to some people, and a lot of people are like, "Yeah, he might need to get moved to the bullpen quick." Drohan just got called up to AAA.
Well,
He's had a couple of rough starts to AAA, but still, he just got called up there. It's not a worry, but still, he's still a little bit of ways away.
I guess here's where I'm going with this. I understand the optics if you were to DFA him and what that means for free agency signing, but the Twins DFA Gary Sanchez and the Mets just turned around and did that too.
Yeah, but
So
Gary
there
Sanchez
is a
stinks.
precedent set.
And Gary Sanchez
So
isn't
does
like a
Kluber.
two-time.
Yeah,
Corey
so
Kluber's
does
also a
Kluber.
two-time Cy Young Award winner at the same time. There's also that. Also, too, the
Doesn't
Red Sox
matter.
do need the starting pitching depth because
Kluber
like
should
I
be
said,
pitching in an old timers game.
those guys in
With the
AAA,
Savannah Bananas, yeah.
Oh man,
oh,
how about our
God.
man? How about our guy
Shane
the other night?
Victorino. Shane
Yeah,
Victorino.
hitting the home run.
Yes. The walk off.
Don't worry about a thing, baby.
Yeah, no, I think they kind of do have to keep Kluber. Like I'll go back, like that minor league depth this year in AAA has struggled massively, and I think you got to keep Kluber in the bullpen because it seems like right now your only starting depth that the Red Sox would go to right now is Kluber, Pavetta, or Crawford. They can't send down Kluber or Pavetta, and they're not going to send down Crawford. You got to keep them in the bullpen at this point. It's just kind of what you have to do. Because if you get rid of Kluber and let's say Paxton gets injured, which is not out of the realm of possibilities, and then if someone else goes down, now you're looking like, okay, like now we're down 2 starters, and now you're looking at bringing both Pavetta and Kluber right back into the rotation because
You
you're
just
not
have
calling
to.
up
You
one
just
of
have
those
to
guys in
keep him for the
AAA.
next 5-6 weeks until I guess a little bit longer than that, till the trade deadline. I mean, is the trade deadline all the way back into the end of July still?
It's July 31st, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy late. So, if they're still in the playoff wild card run, and I think this team will be, just because of their pitching that's come around. Bayo is going to be there. Hulk is going to be there. Sale, I didn't see that coming. 99 miles an hour fastballs. He evidently is going to be there. I'm missing somebody. Whitlock.
O'Brien.
Brian.
Sale,
Here's what I'm going to say with pitching in the off season. I think this needs to happen. I know people are calling for it. Dave Bush needs to get gone. And then I don't care how much money it takes. I think we need to get the Brewers pitching coach because they signed Duran yesterday. And so far he's gone 2 innings, allowed 1 hit and 1 strikeout. Not too bad. And
no.
Brewers
We need the Rays
pitching
pitching
has always been
coach.
good.
We need the Rays pitching coach.
I don't know if you'll get that. I don't know.
Pay him enough money. The Rays only have so much in their budget.
But we have an inside guy with
True.
him.
Same
So.
thing with the Brewers.
Okay, I will say this though. I think,
Right.
but I think too. I do want to say this from the Red Sox because I had the privilege of for Pesky Report getting to interview Christopher Troy, who is a relief pitcher in High Greenville, And the stuff that I talked about with what the Red Sox are doing analytically and with pitcher development and bringing in all the technology and the guy and people who know how to work with all the analytics and the pitch shape data and all the stuff, the biomechanical stuff, all the stuff that they're bringing into the system and bringing into their pitching development. It feels like a thing where this is like a thing where the Red Sox have kind of moved themselves to the cutting edge of using technology. Alex Spear put out a thing where the Red Sox hitters in the minor leagues are using like a bat speed, like training technique or something. I didn't read I don't have the Boston Globe, so I didn't read it. But so like their Red Sox seeming like they're getting in terms of player development, they're getting onto that kind of cutting edge of being at the front of this technological advancements. This past offseason, I think they had hired like 8 people from Driveline. So when you talk about player development, it seems like the Red Sox are really pushing themselves forward in that. Maybe that's, and I think we all look at Dave Bush go, don't know if he's the greatest pitching coach. But at the same time, if they are truly upping their player
I would say at this
development-
point, he's a hindrance to I would say at this point, Dave Bush is a hindrance to all the technology they want.
Oh yeah, definitely. But
Did you say
like
pitch shape?
that pitch
Did
shape
you say
data.
pitch
So
shape?
yes.
Fuck off with all that shit.
No, I'm being 100% serious because they
God, I
literally
miss
have,
Taylor.
They literally
Yeah.
show it helps pitchers. And when we were talking to Christopher Troy, and he said that like he'll say, throws a slider and he feels it maybe got a little bit on top of it. It had more downward movement than he wanted, not enough horizontal movement. And then they'll get to the pitch data and go, oh no, it didn't have enough downward movement. And whereas he might have thought off the hand, he felt that it had too much. Or for something like they use a lot of stuff to develop pitches and have the pitches.
Just
move
we
how
want
they
pitchers
them to
thinking
move.
more than they have to. There's been great pitchers like Nolan Ryan. The worst thing I can ever do is think out on a mound.
But
You
it's
don't
not
want
about thinking on the mound, though. I think it's more of a
But
thing of
you are, because so overanalyze bullshit. If you can't pitch, you can't pitch. I don't care about this analytics bullshit. I'm sorry. I just no. If we go down this road, you're gonna bore the shit out of baseball fans.
That's why Ryan Brazier stayed on the team forever.
No, I think though it's not in terms
great
of
analytics.
learning how to pitch. It's not about learning how to pitch. You have to learn how to pitch regardless. I think it's more of your slider does this when you throw it. Your slider is more effective if it would do this based on your arm slot or whatever it is or whatever they find. It's like for example, a guy who they brought in, like look at a guy like a John Schreiber. You look at the numbers before Schreiber was the Red Sox, it's not great. I mean, MLB in his shortened MLB time, he had like a 5-something ERA. The Red Sox bring in because they like the pitch data he has. They, change a couple things here and there, kind of refurbish him, I guess. And he comes out and what has he been with the Red Sox? He's been not dominant, but pretty close to it.
Good.
Especially at time. And I think that's the big thing. It's how can we make you better than you already are? If you don't know how to pitch, if you can't locate your pitches, none of this stuff's going to help anyways. But if you can go and say, my slider is a B pitch, let's make it an A pitch, and this stuff can help you do that, I think it's only going to help in terms of player development. Now you still have to rely on the pitcher to go out in the game and execute, because if the pitcher doesn't execute, I mean, none of it matters. But I think in terms of having the mix of the old school and the new school is pushing that player development forward in the system.
Okay, so what you're telling us is if you're Winston Hernandez or Caleb Orr, this data and this tools are absolutely meaningless because you don't know how to locate. And if you have a chance in the major leagues, if you can at least locate and maybe get more spin rate, more bite, more action, that's what it's going to help develop.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like Darwinzon Hernandez is a good example. I don't like talking bad about players, but Darwinzon Hernandez, if he can't find the strike zone regardless, it doesn't matter how good your stuff is. Because he had some of the best stuff in the system, but he can never find the strike zone. But if you have a guy who can find the strike zone and you make his stuff better, it can make him an even better pitcher. And I think that's what you want. That's what you look for. I mean, look at the Rays. See, they pull all these relievers from nowhere.
So what I'm hearing is we need to send Nick Pavetta and Kluber down to high A and learn how to pitch.
No, they have this stuff. I think though, I think at some point, like especially guys like Kluber, it's like you know what they are. Even like Pavetta,
But
to an
I'm
extent,
getting
like,
it.
you know what
It's like if
Pavetta
you
is,
can't
but-
throw over 85 mile an hour in the big league, I don't give a shit where you put the ball.
Oh yeah,
You're
well,
gonna
yeah,
get the shit beat out of you.
well, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. I think that's definitely a fair thing, and I definitely agree with that. But at the same time, too, when you're looking at a guy like Kluber, we know what he is, right? And he's 38. Like we know who he is. We even know who Nick Pavetta is. Nick Pavetta is not going to come out and totally change the type of pitcher he is, right? Or he's not going to. And he did try to alter his curveball, and he kind of abandoned it pretty quickly, because it wasn't really working necessarily for him. But it's a thing where like we know who Nick Pavetta is, we know who Corey Kluber is, we even know who Chris Sale is at this point, right? When he's healthy, we know who Chris Sale is. But like guys like, for example, like a Tanner Houck, and they do this in the minor leagues too. And I got to talk with Ian Kundle of Sox Prospects too. And sometimes in the minor leagues, they'll have guys go, if you're in an 0-2 count, you must throw your changeup. You have to throw it. Don't care if a guy knows it's coming. You have to throw it. And they do that just for pitch development. So because some guys, if their changeup, they know their changeup isn't the best pitch, they just won't throw it. And part of that, you can't do that in the big leagues. I think too, that's why you see, especially if the Red Sox are doing it behind Bloom, they're not going to rush guys through the minor leagues to help the big league team because, like, hey, you're working on something in AAA. We need you to work on it there because once you get to the big leagues, you can't necessarily work on it the same way, if that makes sense.
All right, so let's talk about the big issue. They're not scored, but they have had really, really good pitching this last week. You know, where do we see that starting five starting next week? Is Whitlock back next week? I believe he is, right?
Saturday.
Saturday, so he's back. I'm going to say starting next week. Where do you foresee your starting five? Number 1 through 5. Go, Dave O'Brien.
What?
All right, I'll skip it back to you, Jeremy. 1 through 5. What does your starting rotation look like next week?
All right. It's gonna go probably gonna go Sale. Jesus. I would say Sale. Tanner Hoak. God, I don't know after that, man. Like
I mean, I can tell you what order they're
we
going
know
to pitch
Kluber's in
in.
the pen. We know
No,
Big
I
Maple will
wanna,
be third.
let him
Yeah.
finish
Power
out
rank
here.
Jackson will be
them.
third.
Power rank them. Don't go in what order they'll pitch.
Oh, power rank them?
No,
Yes,
I want
let's
to hear where you would throw them out in a 5. Well, you have to get your starting
In a 5-man rotation.
In a 5-man
Yeah.
rotation, your number 1 guy is Sale, you said. Your
Yeah,
number
that's what
2
I'm
guy
saying.
is Tanner Houck, then Big Maple.
Yep.
So now you're between Whitlock and Bayo is your 4 and 5.
Yeah, and I would do Bayo 4 and Whitlock 5.
All right. Mr. Napoli.
Yeah.
Just how I would rank them. My number 1 would be Sale. Number 2, based upon the last couple of starts I've seen, it's going to be between Tanner and Bayo. I'd probably go with Bayo because I think the stuff is a little bit more electric right now. So I'll put Tanner at number 3. Number 4, I would put Paxton. Even though he got touched up a little bit this last time, he still looked pretty fucking good his first 3 starts, considering he hadn't pitched since 21, like something like September of 21 or something insane like that. And number 5,
Mike Napoli.
that's actually who I was going to say. You beat me to it, you motherfucker.
Alex Verdugo.
Alex Verdugo.
Yes.
No, I like
Pablo
Cutter
Reyes.
Crawford. I like Cutter Crawford over Garrett Whitlock. I like Whitlock out of the pen. Cutter's got an interesting move to the plate. His mechanics are unique. He throws a nice cutter. Ironically, he's got a good fastball. I saw it hit 96, 97 last time out, if I'm not mistaken. That would be my 5. And of course, Mike Napoli coming in is the closer.
Yeah, he could be your starter. That's
Absolutely.
an interesting look at it. I didn't see that coming.
You can also,
Dave O'Brien, where you at?
Can I? So do I have the full? Do I have the keys to the team?
Yeah,
I,
you have
like-
the keys to the team.
Oh, okay.
Oh, this is changing my order.
Oh,
No, I mean, who's ever on the 40-man roster right now?
Well, yeah. I'm not
All
saying
right, who's on the
Otani,
40?
Bieber. Like I'm not saying.
No, I mean, if
Ohtani.
you
Oh,
want to
no, I
put
wasn't
Pivetta
going
in
that
there
far.
or Kluber,
No,
go for it.
here's my.
I'm trading for someone. Come on.
Here we go.
No,
so
no,
one
no,
is-
no. Who's on the team right now? But I'm giving you guys Whitlock.
right.
So
Okay.
that shouldn't change anything up, I don't think, for you, Jeremy. I wouldn't think so, but
No, it doesn't change anything for me.
So my number 1 is Sale. My 2 is Hauk. My 3 would be Bayo. My 4 is Big Maple. And I'm going to agree with you, Jeremy, and say Cutter Crawford. Sorry.
no, that was Big Nap. That was Big Naps right there, man. That was Mike Anthony Napoli. You went
Mike
with that.
Napoli.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah,
so
Cutter Crawford is a good
stat-
end of the rotation guy. And Kluber is on Jupiter.
Death row.
The sun.
What a bummer to. So is Sale your number 1 stats?
Yeah, Sale's my 1.
Okay. So number 2.
Bayo is my 2. Also, I'm basing this on the upside too. I'm also trying to factor in upside. My 3, you're gonna hate this, but Red Sox have said that they've looked at his changeup data, and we're gonna see the changeup that we saw from him in 2021 and even in 2022 when he had success. I'm going Garrett Whitlock at 3. I'm going
Okay,
Houck
bye.
4.
I'm kidding.
And I'm going James Paxton at 5. And when we know this year with Whitlock, when he started, like the changeup was off, and it was clear, like the changeup was off. If that changeup is on, and here's the thing, like we know how good like Bayo can be with his changeup, and Bayo's essentially 3 pitches. It's this fastball / sinker kind of hybrid. That they technically is 2 different pitches, but let's be honest, it's really kind of like it's a little bit of a mix of the same pitch. One just has a little bit more movement. So we'll call your fastball / sinker, your changeup, and your slider. That's Bayo's mix. Whitlock's pitch mix is your fastball / sinker, your changeup, and your slider. And if
I
we
should
get
have had
that,
somebody writing this down.
and if we get the changeup from Whitlock that we know he can throw when he's at his best, you already have 2 very good pitches, and then you add in the slider, which, I mean, that just helps him even more. I mean, I think you get a Garrett Whitlock that can be a very solid, and the upside is there. And I'm also basing this off of upside as well. And the only and I think James Paxton for me is at 5 just because you can't put him in the bullpen. At least I mean that one rehab start at Worcester and the bullpen went awful. Although all his rehab starts pretty much went bad too for the most part. But I think that Paxton too, you don't put too much pressure on him in the 5 spot. Although I'll give the order they're actually going to throw them in. The order they're throwing them in is Sale, Whitlock, Houck, Bayo, Paxton. That's just how it lined up.
And I'm good with
Whitlock
that.
slides in on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
yeah. So I'll round it out. Sale, I think, is the obvious right now. He deserves the number 1 spot, especially the way he's come back from his black hole that was the beginning of the season that we all thought his career was over. I'm going to do a lefty, righty, lefty thing. So I was going to say Bayo, but I just feel like Houck has been in the league a little bit longer. If he's going to go up against more elite starters, I'd rather Houck in the number 2 hole. Then I'd go back to Big Maple in the 3 slot, and then back to Bayo, the 4, and Whitlock rounding out 5. Because the reason I put Whitlock at 5 is if you do have an extra day off or get a rain out, I think your 5th starter is more likely to get the extra day. Everybody's going to get an extra day's rest, but he might get that extra day before his start in the rotation, if that makes any sense. And he still needs to build up arm strength. I just don't feel like he's done it. In stats, you have to tell me what's the longest he's gone in a game. I'm willing to bet it's been no longer than 5 innings, and maybe that's once.
Wait, who?
Whitlock.
7.
Whitlock. He
went
had
7.
one game where he went deep. I know he had one game. at
He
some
went
point.
7 against the Angels.
Yeah, that is true. I think so. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So
But that was
me
that
and
was a while back.
Me and Nuke Lelouch here have the same lineup. So I noticed that. Love the name change too. That is brilliant. And I feel like I should just like run and find a mascot and just chuck a baseball at him in celebration.
No. Here's actually, let's make this Red Sox interesting, because we know that eventually, if the Red Sox are in playoff contention, the trade deadline will be coming up. You get to the trade deadline, you can add 3 pieces to the team. What 3 areas are you targeting?
Announcing.
Pitching.
Concessions, beer, and parking.
I had the same mindset, Taylor. I said announcing.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
can we trade Dave O'Brien?
So
Hell,
all right.
trade him to the
All right,
Padres.
All right, here's my question. Do we think the Mets are going to be out of it by then?
I don't think they trade.
They won't sell.
Away.
They won't sell.
They won't sell.
You don't think they'll sell?
Yeah,
If they
No.
sell,
You
they'll
know,
sell
you
someone
know
who's
who
got,
I
like,
was
1
thinking
year
about,
left.
right? I mean, it wouldn't cost you any. Well, it would cost you a shit ton. That's the problem. Is Max Scherzer?
You're not getting him.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know, but
Okay,
you
it's not
asked
worth
me.
it.
Here,
No.
We need to stay under
asked
the
me-
tax.
You asked me who I wanted.
no, 3 areas of I said 3 areas of the team. Okay, let's start 3. I'll actually name 3 players I want. I'll actually go out and name.
All right,
3
3
guys I want.
players. Let's go.
I want Justin Lawrence, reliever for the Rockies. Righties this year are hitting under 100 against him this year. He's got like a wacky, like weird sidearm kind of angle. He's throwing like 100 with the wipeout slider from the right side. Like, he's nasty. I'm looking at the Giants and looking at what their record is right now. The Giants are 24-25. I think the Padres will pass them. They'll end up in 4th. You look at their guys and you go, oh, you look at their rotation. You have Logan Webb's you're not getting him. Then you have Alex Cobb, Anthony DeSclafani, and Alex Wood. Those are 3 guys where you start looking at them and you look at their contract situations. Anthony DeSclafani does have 1 more year after this year, so maybe that's a little bit of a stretch, right? Alex Cobb has a club option after this year. And then, where is he? Crap, I lost. And then Alex Wood is a free agent after this year. I think maybe you look and go like a guy like Alex Wood, maybe, and go, he's got 1 year left. I know the money is a lot, and you're probably going to have to get San Fran to eat, because I think he's on like a $12 million contract. So you're going to need them to either eat some money or they need to take some money off the Red Sox hands. But like, that's someone who, like, you know, not stellar starter, but if you push like a Houck into the pen and put him in the back of the pen, or Whitlock, whoever it ends up being, into the pen, now your pen just gets that much even more upgraded too, along with someone like a Justin Lawrence. And then another guy who is on my radar, and I don't know what they're gonna do, but I'm looking at Oakland, and I'm looking at the absolute crapshoot that their roster is, and it is bad. It is like it is bad, really, really bad.
It's bad. It's bad.
Yes, but
That's an understatement.
but the guy I'm looking at Oakland, and I'm looking at their team, and I look at their bullpen. They do have a couple of interesting guys in their bullpen. I mean, Trevor May hasn't really pitched this year, but he signed a 1-year deal with them in free agency. That could be someone who you look and go, maybe that's interesting. In 15 innings this year, Sam Long has a 3.52 ERA. It's nothing crazy, but it's something. Richard Lovelady has a 1.98 ERA. You're just kind of looking at guys and looking in the bullpen, and you go, and you're looking at these guys, and it's like, you know what? There could be something there. A guy like Domingo Acevedo, who I was looking at this offseason, was a guy I was like, maybe wouldn't be terrible, maybe not. He had a 3.33 ERA, 67 innings last year with Oakland. This year, he pitched 9 innings, had like a 10 ERA, and then they took him off the 40-man. That's a guy that you get for like dirt cheap as like a throw a bone out there, go, you know what? This guy's had success before. Throw him in AAA and add depth because that AAA bullpen no one's ready in that AAA bullpen to come up if they need help. That's why they had to bring in Bernardino from Seattle. Go get Justin Garza and bring him in. So getting a guy like that, the trade deadline, who seems inconsequential, but adds major league depth in AAA, which they need, especially on the pitching side, and has had success in the big leagues before, and is still relatively young. Also a former Yankees prospect, so shove it up the Yankees behind a little bit too with that. Just something where it's not going to cost you a lot to bring in a guy who could bring you upside. I think that's a thing. But my main guy would be Justin Lawrence. Second option, maybe a giant starter who's got like an Alex Cobb or just any middle rotation guy with 1 year left, not too much money, something like that. And then you're looking at like one of those relievers, probably like remember when they traded for Hansel Robles? Looking at something. Well, remember the run Robles went on though in 21 though.
Yeah,
Like that run he went on, and
I
that's
remember
what
that.
I mean.
I just remember everything after that.
Oh yeah, but relievers are
Right.
volatile. You're looking for a guy with upside who's going to be cheap, and that's
it would be cheap, and who obviously shows he can pitch in Fenway Park. He's old. He's very old.
Mike Napoli.
Wainwright.
oh
Wainwright.
no, we're not, no.
The Cardinals are not dumping Wainwright. No.
And the rotation's
No.
ass.
He's an unrestricted free agent next year.
They want him.
No, they
I'm
wouldn't do
guessing they're
that.
going to want him to retire.
They
with
would
him.
not do that to him.
They don't want. They
No.
want the fans to riot. So
Right.
You asked once again.
No,
you're not
I
playing by the
think-
rules. You're not playing by the damn rules. You ask me who I want, then you shit all over what I say, what I want.
fair.
Wow. God.
Oh, I know
feel
who I
like
want. I want Shohei Ohtani, but that's not happening.
Yeah, I feel like I'm on
Oh
the
my
Karavis.
God.
I feel like I'm on the Karavis report here.
Right. So okay, the
Let him
teams that you
finish.
mentioned, right, with the trade with what?
I said let Nuke Lelouch finish.
All right.
Let's
Let's let Nuke finish.
all right,
Sorry, Nuke.
So I would like a starting pitcher. Obviously, I'd like a catcher. I honestly don't know a lot of what's out there, just because I don't know what's going to be, what teams are going to be still in it when it comes to July 31st. I just figure Chicago is probably not going to be in it. That's why, Chicago White Sox or the Cubs, whether it's John Gomes, I don't
Cubs
think.
maybe.
I mean, none of these guys that you're going to get are going to be defensive juggernauts, but Reese's Pieces, quick hands, just ain't doing it anymore. He cannot hit with men on, and it's frustrating. Wong,
He also can't throw guys out.
I don't know why
Yeah.
we're going back and forth on Wong. He should be playing more if we feel that confident in him. Maybe he does. I mean, the guy does not look like he could handle a 100, even 150 game season. He just is not built to be a catcher. Am I wrong, Mike Napoli?
Like Wong, I don't think he has the stereotypical body type for a catcher.
Right.
He looks
Jason
like he needs a
Kendall.
fucking cheeseburger. Maybe a cheeseburger and a fucking couple hot dogs and a couple cold beers. But I like the kid. I think he's got a good swing. I've seen him throw out some runners the last few times. But fucking Reese McGuire can go fuck up all the way off and go back to the Dollar Tree parking lot. That dude straight up cannot fucking hit to save his life. You know, my dad used to say he couldn't fucking hit the broadside of a barn if he tried. He was a failed experiment. You know, thanks for stopping by, but fuck off. But
No, my dad would say he couldn't hit the sand if he was sitting on Revere Beach Boulevard.
yeah, just as bad. Just as bad.
I'll say this
Oh
on
my
Wong's
goodness.
size. I'll say this: Jason Kendall was 6 foot 181. I'm sorry, he was 6 foot 181. Connor Wong 6'1", 181. So
I'm used to seeing guys like Veritek who have thighs as wide as my abdomen.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
as my-
he doesn't look like a catcher, but you know what? I don't give a shit what he looks like as long as he can play the position. And so far, he's the better of the two. I know that fucking Alvaro can't fucking throw to save his life, but the guy's got a decent bat.
oh,
I'd
he
rather
can't
have
play behind the
Alvaro.
plate either. He cannot play behind
Yeah,
the plate
he
either.
can't.
No.
He's
No, I-
taking
I know he
grounders
doesn't
at third.
receive well.
God, he's bad.
Can't-
Bro,
I know he can't be a defensive catcher worth a shit, but he's got a bat, and I would rather have a bat than fucking McGuire.
No,
Because
because
McGuire-
you can't play him at catcher.
I-
He's a third catcher at best,
Right.
though. That's the problem. You can't play him at catcher.
Right,
a
he's literally
massive
one game.
liability.
Like,
Yeah,
he
he's
that
like a.
bad?
he is your one game
Oh
catcher.
my-
That's it.
Dude, the people who have been to AAA games
Okay.
in Worcester will vouch for how bad he is behind the plate. It's
This is how
rough.
bad, and this is how bad. And keep in mind, this is not a knock on Veritek, not a knock on Veritek. But do you guys remember when Veritek was trying to catch Tim Wakefield, and there was pass ball after pass ball,
Oh, yeah.
and Tech was blocking him, but he literally couldn't catch it. That Alfaro with everybody, like it's bad. It's like,
He
yes,
has a
his
strong
bat
arm,
is great.
but he can't throw guys out. That's the even like more questionable thing. It's like he has a strong arm, but he still can't throw guys out. And like he's very athletic for his size. Like he runs really, really well, but like and he has some like really good raw power, but just behind the. I think you'd be more likely to see him play first base or left field for the Red Sox this year than see him play catcher.
That's what I say. If we didn't have Justin Turner, Alfaro would be up.
Yeah.
He would.
He'd be DH.
He'd be your DH.
So
Yeah.
was the question what three players you want to get at
Three
the trade
players
deadline?
you'd like to get it if you would like you look to like get the trade line, or three like areas of need or positions of need.
So I will say this: when you were going down your list of personnel stats, I don't fucking know who any of those dudes are. I don't pay attention to the 29 other teams or their performances. I'll be lucky to fucking recognize anybody when I'm at Fenway next week playing for the Red Sox. I see the uniform, but I know we need catching. So I would go after a catcher because I cannot stand McGuire. I just can't fucking stand that dude. He's my Ryan Brazier that meets Corey Kluber. I think he is a worthless. He is a waste of biological tissue, man.
You need to get on the tweet box.
Oh man, why is Reese McGuire still on the team? Kind of thing. He may be a nice guy, but fuck him. I want guys I can go to war with.
Dollar
He's
Tree
not.
didn't think he was that nice of a guy. Can I say this on catchers though, real quick? I do want to say this. Like, does anyone else have concern about catchers? If you're bringing in a catcher to a pitching staff that has never pitched to him in the middle of the season when you're in a playoff race, especially if you want him to play every day, and that's what was the main detractor for Dusty Baker. That's why Dusty Baker didn't want the Astros to go get Wilson Contreras last year, because he was
That's like trying to
I-
trade a wide receiver in midseason.
Yeah.
Quarterbacks just can't get on the same page usually.
And that's my only word. Now, I'm not saying it would necessarily be a bad idea, especially if you can get an upgrade, but at the same time, like there is that little bit of like kind of worry in the back of your head of like, will he work with the pitching staff? And that's why the Astros end up moving to Vasquez. And it's because Dusty Baker was like, no, we're not getting Wilson Contreras. I don't want to. It's because also I know Wilson Contreras does have his struggles defensively too, but just, that idea of bringing a catcher mid-season, I know some teams aren't in favor of that.
Can I say my hypotheticals?
Go.
Other than the obvious, Dylan Cease.
Nice.
I think he'd be a decent
luck,
pickup.
good
I know he's struggling, but he'd be a decent pickup. And if you need to trade Brian Mata because
I think no value though.
You think he has no value?
Here's the problem with Mata. He has no options after this year.
Exactly.
So you
I don't
can't
know.
send him down, but that means no one else can send him down after this year either. So if you're
Right.
trading Mata, every team knows if we're picking this guy up, we have to put him on our big league roster regardless next year, or we're just going to lose him.
Right.
'Cause
Right, and I
some
think
team will
the
pick
White
him up.
Sox.
Basically, he would be. Oh yeah, it is the White Sox. Basically, they'd get a major league player if we send him Mata. Like he would be the big player that can go now. You don't know what you're getting with him, and yeah,
He's also,
Hey,
but there's also massive injury concerns, and He has not been good this year at all. He's been awful this year in AAA.
Can I propose a trade? Can I propose a trade of Reese McGuire to the Cubs for their first base coach, Michael Anthony Napoli?
There you go.
Mike Napoli can. No. How about
and their pitching coach.
And there, yes, thank you.
or no or we just like bring in like Koji to be the pitching coach.
I love it.
I love it.
Koji,
Sign me up.
yes, Koji.
The Red Sox do have an
All right.
interesting prospect. Stats. I'm not sure how much you know about this kid, Nathan Hickey.
Yeah, although behind the plate, it's rough with him too. It's
Well, he's
rough.
still in Double-A. I mean, he's still got a little bit to learn, but at least there's some hope. Kid's got some pop. He's got 7 home runs, 19 RBIs, hitting about almost 300 through 2023 so far. So kid's got a bat.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's just can he play
He's-
behind the plate?
Well, nobody can play behind the plate. Even Wong's been
No, well, here's
inconsistent
the
behind the plate.
Wong has been like a top 5 catcher behind the plate this year in the big leagues, which that's when you look at the numbers.
We should let Dave O'Brien finish his 3.
I never finished my 3, but go ahead.
Who else?
Oh. You cut up.
Well, he's our guest.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No,
As
he's
a
been
guest-
here. He's been here 3 times now. He's not a guest anymore. He's part of
2
family.
times actually.
Well,
Yeah,
if
true.
we put the
Third
Twitter
time. Yeah,
spaces all together, it's like more like 5. But we
Oh,
won't
okay,
shit
then-
over number.
Okay. I knew finish, and then you finish.
No, I got nobody else. It's just
I got
I
another guy.
I just
Go get-
You trade
go to
Caleb
the
or
National.
you trade
Caleb
Caleb or for Shohei Ohtani. I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I think the Angels.
don't think that's fair.
I
Well,
think the
no,
Angels are
you-
getting
you-
the good side of that deal.
Yeah,
the
I
Red
think
Sox
I
have
think
to
Oh,
get
you
I
shorter.
throw
think
in
they
Richard
gotta.
Blyer.
Dick
yeah,
Blyer. Yeah.
Can we
I
get
do
Dick-
actually.
Can we get Dick Mountain back yet?
No.
He was actually trending on Twitter yesterday.
Yeah,
I don't
that
want
won't
Rich Hill
happen.
back.
But yeah,
I don't
No?
want Rich Hill back. No, I will say here
Uh.
another 2 interesting guys though. You look at the Nationals; they're going to be selling whatever any valuable major league pieces they
The
have.
Padres might be selling.
They're not going to sell. You look at their bullpen. Hunter Harvey this year, 22 innings, a 2.82 ERA in their bullpen this year. Now, the FIP isn't bad. It's actually pretty good. He's got a 3.05 FIP. He's been solid this year. Walks are not bad for a relief pitcher at 2.82 walks per 9. That's pretty decent, pretty good for a relief pitcher. And then the other guy is Carl Edwards Jr. so far this year for the Nationals in 20 innings. He had 2.18 ERA. Now the FIP is worse for him. He's got like 4.15 FIP. He's got like over 4 walks per 9, so it's a little bit iffy. He's always been a guy that struggles with walks, even dating back to his Cubs days. But like, you're looking for relievers on the cheap. Those are 2 guys that haven't given up a ton of runs this year. And what are the Nationals going to do with them? Like, let's be honest, the Nationals aren't going to do anything with them. So, and then Kyle Finnegan, who's their closer this year, he's got a 4.74 ERA this year. Not great, but last year he was pretty solid for them too. So you're looking at, those are 3 relievers right there. Last year, Finnegan had 3.51 ERA, the year before 3.55, the year before 2.92 ERA. So those are
I do want
relievers
to bring
that-
up a feel-good story. I know we didn't get to all 3. Mr. Napoli's got to jump off here in a minute. Has anybody heard, and this story or this video popped up on my feed last week or this week, I can't remember. Have you ever heard of this kid named Christian Hop? There's a video about him, how he comes out and he believes truthfully since being a young kid that he's Lou Gehrig reincarnated.
Oh yeah.
Like he'd point to him in
What?
a picture as a kid.
Yeah,
It's
I
so
know-
weird.
and he's really young too. I mean, he could have been
He's like
coached to do it. Well, he's not 8 anymore. He's like 14 or 15.
now, but yeah.
When he did the video,
Yeah.
he
was
was
like 8.
like,
8 or
well, he
10.
threw out the first ball with the Dodgers when he was like 4 years old. And Adam Sandler discovered him and made this short film about him. So it's incredibly interesting, whether it's true or not. The kid's got legit skills as a ball player. I mean, he's only 14 years old. He's in high school. Nobody knows what's going to become of this kid. But if you watch the video, if you haven't watched the video, go out there and check it out. It's Christian Haupt. I think it's a phenomenal little story. I don't know, like I say, could be a complete load of crap, but baseball needs more feel-good stories.
He might be better than Richard Blyer. Who knows?
Oh god, I gotta say this though. The little news video that I saw makes it sound like it makes it sound so fake. Like I'm like the news is like he's Luca, and it's like I'm like you're making this sound like 10 times worse than it actually is. Like, and then it's I don't know. It's
Well,
I think I'm Dave O'Brien. So,
well, I mean, should we talk about the elephant in the room? If he's Lou Gehrig reincarnated, that's not a very good ending.
Oh.
oh,
I feel bad. I'm starting to feel bad for him then. Like, I don't want him to be Lou Gehrig reincarnated. He could be like Lou Gehrig and not have that. Is it too soon for Lou Gehrig jokes? I don't know.
No.
Don't say it to his
I
mom.
will say this. I will say this. I will say this.
I mean, you could have picked Babe Ruth and been the wife murdering home run masher.
Hang on. First and
At least
foremost,
he doesn't.
I will not stand for Babe Ruth bashing. That's my favorite fucking player besides Michael Anthony Napoli. But when Nuke mentioned this kid was Lou Gehrig reincarnated, the first thing I thought of was, man, that's not going to fucking end up well. That's just not going to end well, dude. Sorry about that. Sorry about that, bro.
Jesus.
What a motherfucker to come back as
Oh
Lou Gehrig.
Lord.
Right.
I came
talk
back-
about being
back-
dealt a bad hand.
Yeah, I've been reborn. I came back as the first person who ever had AIDS.
I got to hop off here pretty quick. I got to call my mom's doctor at 8:00. So,
All right, man. All the best
All right.
to you and
Alrighty,
yours.
brother.
Mike
All right,
Napoli,
guys.
it was a
Absolutely.
pleasure. I love talking to you.
it's always good to see you guys. I'm sorry I can't stay on longer, and I apologize. I've been missing as much as I have, but you guys
Hey,
are never
you
far
gotta do
from
what
my
you gotta
thoughts.
do, man. Don't apologize.
And I will see you guys later. Remember, this stash is better than Winks. And tonight's episode again is sponsored by 37 Ronin.
Debatable.
Get some gear. Shut up. talk to you later.
37run.com.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Alright.
So
All right.
I listened
So-
to the last episode. Was it Nuke or Jeremy who called my podcast blah blah blah? I need to get to the bottom of that.
in all fairness, I had a few.
The blah blah blah. I remember that. I was like, wait, what are you calling it? The
I was
blah,
in the
blah,
car
blah.
on the way home from having lunch with my aunt and uncle, and then I hear, "Oh yeah, go subscribe to blah blah blah." I'm like, I locked. I'm like, what?
Thank the Lord,
I was
on
quickly
top of it.
corrected though. So
Yes, I
I'm
was
kidding.
on top of it.
Don't
It was.
worry about it. Don't worry
Oh
about
my
it.
It was
god.
good. I was on top of it though.
Don't worry
You
about
gotta
it.
lay down
That's
the
not
He
the
was.
weirdest thing.
He
Someone
was.
thought it was like a podcast about other balls. Okay, don't worry.
in all fairness, I believe you've had a podcast called blah blah blah, haven't you? An episode?
Probably.
Probably.
That's where I brain fart.
Oh my god.
Brought to you by
Oh my
37ronin.com.
Yes, yes.
And Dave O'Brien.
The blah blah blah.
And Dave
Oh,
O'Brien.
Lord. We might. What are we
Oh
naming
my
the
God.
show? Blah blah blah.
All right,
Blah,
roll
blah,
us
blah.
I
into
don't say blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Ever see that from that movie?
Oh
So,
yeah.
going into Arizona, how do we feel, guys?
I'm a little worried. Arizona's good. They are Arizona was always my sleeper team heading into this year, just because I probably watched too many D-backs games, and they are my National League team. But I was serious heading into they're gonna surprise some people, and I mean, they have the third best record in the National League. They aren't, and they're not a joke. They have, they're only a game and a half back of the Dodgers, they're a game and a half back of the Dodgers, and they're a game and a half back of the Braves as well. and then the whole entire National League. So like, they're
I
good.
do have one complaint about the Angels Stadium. Was it me, or did they not black out the center field area for the games? Because it was very
It's
light out there.
grass.
No, there were people out there on the field, like yellow and all kinds of whatever people were wearing. So I was really curious to how they got away with that, because
It's a night game.
yeah, but it doesn't get dark until halfway through the game.
At Fenway.
I'm really trying to make excuses for this team right now, other than everybody went cold all at the same time.
Yeah.
Does Cassis go down and does the Dahlbach come back up for a stretch?
No,
No.
He's. I don't know where
I don't
this
want him.
narrative is
I prefer Cassis.
Right.
I'm just asking, because Cassis is much better first baseman.
Right. And I don't know where this narrative is that Cassis is still sucking ass, because in May he has gotten better. Like the numbers are there. In May, he is hitting better. He is making a lot more contact than he was, and he is a little more aggressive.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it's like nobody wants to pay attention to that.
Rafael Devers, and Devers has had his struggles so far this year.
Right.
No one wants to talk about it. But as soon as it's Tristan Cassis, everyone brings it up.
Verdugo's come back down to earth.
The whole team has, though.
They are. Right.
The only guy, one of the only guys that still hasn't done anything this year is Kike. He struggled pretty much. Well, Richard Blyer, but in the lineup,
position players.
Kike hasn't really done much. He hasn't got on a hot streak at all this year. You could say that.
And to keep in mind too, like with Kike and some of these guys, right, with the struggles, they're not as comfortable as they would be if you had everybody healthy. If you had Story, if you had Yu Chang was playing off the bench, if you had who else am I leaving out that's hurt, for crying out loud?
Adalberto Mondesi, Christian Arroyo,
Yu Chang.
Exactly. Right. Adam Duvall. That's who I was leaving out. Right. They don't have that comfort because it's all on them. It's all on Verdugo, Rafi, Castis. Like these guys.
Oh yeah, they have no bench whatsoever. And it's almost embarrassing the lineup that they put out, because what was there 2 or 3 nights in a row where 7 of the or 8 of the 9 guys were lefties?
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad thing. If they're good hitters, they're good hitters, regardless if they're righty or lefty. Right. But it's
well, and that's to be said though. On the injury front, we have gotten some good news. There's a target date for Duvall. Their Story's making progress. Like it is looking more and more like by the All-Star break.
Making process.
He had a setback.
Exactly.
He had a setback. Well,
no, I didn't see that. Really?
Yeah, Chris Smith, I think, came out with an article that said he had a setback.
But nonetheless, I mean, this team's going to stick around the wild card race. They're only 2.5 out. I mean, it's late May. They've got
honestly, it's what I've been saying.
To make up that time. They're going to be playing some bad teams after Arizona. They're going to be playing some teams that they can make up some time with. It's just whether they take advantage, because they haven't taken advantage at points this year, and they played well against really good teams.
Yeah, they haven't played bad teams this year. That's the problem. Look at their schedule. Like they have the hardest strength of schedule in the big leagues this year.
Right, and Detroit was their worst team.
Wait, how is that possible? Oh, with the division, yeah, actually, yeah.
The division. So
and also too, really, if we play 500 ball until these guys get back and until the All-Star break, I think we're good. I think that's a good thing for us, because you look at what has happened and the way and how inconsistent the pitching has been. The offense has carried us. Now this last series with the Angels, the pitching was better. And who knows what we're going to expect in Arizona. I still think that hopefully the pitching will continue like it is. I can't say much for the offense, but if we see more pitching like we did in the Angel series, I feel better about the team overall, because the offense eventually will come around more. and they've proven they can score runs. I'm not worried about one series that they went cold, or even if they are cold in this series, I'm not going to
God, it
panic
just
that they're
hurt so
cold,
much for them to go cold.
because that
It
happens.
wasn't even Otani or
Trout.
Trout that
Right.
hurt him. It was
No.
the first
Or
round
Anthony
draft
Rendon,
pick,
who was injured.
the first round draft pick
Right.
from 2016.
Mickey Moniak.
Yeah.
To be fair,
we're-
he's been
Right.
red hot lately, to be fair. But yeah.
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 And we were trashing him on the Twitter space.
Yeah,
on
right?
Monday.
No, we were trashing that draft class as a whole. Let's be honest. That draft class is
We
still
were.
horrific. Moniak's had 10 good games.
That draft class was dog shit.
Yeah, but he deserves to
first
play in
round
Philly
was
with a name like
awful.
that. Mickey Moniak. Yo, Mickey.
Mickey
Mickey
Mouse Moniak.
Or Tampa Bay. I guess.
He needs to go play in Philly.
Moniak.
That's
But,
a Philly guy if I've ever heard
Well,
of one.
Yeah.
So-
I will say this, though. I think if you're the Red Sox, keep it close. Stay in the playoff hunt up until the deadline, and then anything can happen. You get healthy, you maybe make a move or two at the deadline, and you can get hot and push into the playoffs and get into the playoffs on a high note. And once you get in, it's just get in, because even if you're a wild card, once you get in, anything can happen. We saw it with the Phillies last year. Just get in, and you could go far. So that's the big thing. Any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Yeah, we need the guy from MLB to put the little curse or whatever on the bats or something. Oh, what was the god's name?
And Serrano from Major League.
Yeah, what was his god's name? Does anyone remember?
Joe Boo.
Joe Boo, yeah. You need to put like a Joe Boo curse, or something on the bats, or sacrifice a chicken, or I don't know.
One whole chicken.
We'll have to get Wade Boggs on the call, see if we knows where to find some good chickens. Because they're pretty expensive.
said. No, it's not Luke anymore.
It's 37ronin.com.
Jesus, Jeff is. Yeah, Jeff is gonna change his name to a symbol next time.
We have stats. Dave O'Brien, 37run.com, Mike Anthony Napoli, and Jeremy.
Jeremy's just Jeremy. Jason, any final thoughts before we wrap this thing up?
Yeah, something's gonna have to change here.
Yeah.
Final thoughts. This is a low point of the season, but look, right things are on the way, and on November 5th, 2023, we're gonna be on the fucking duck boats. Okay.
I hope it's a little bit earlier than that, but
No,
I'll still take it. I'll still take it. November 5th feels very late. It definitely does. But yeah, let's get a sweep in the World Series. For Jeff, for Jeremy, for Mr. Taylor, who's long gone, and Jason.
I don't get a final thought.
You said your final thought.
I don't get a final thought.
No, Petey from the park didn't get a final thought.
I thought you got.
Right.
I thought you were saying
All
your
right.
final thoughts after
Right.
Mr. Brown.
Petey of the park. Maybe that
Whoa.
doesn't sound that right, but I'm gonna go with
Oh my
Pedroia, not the
gosh.
other Petey.
All right, there we go. We'll go with Pedroia. All right, so my final thought is this: we're going into Arizona. I do feel good about it, even though the Angel series wasn't that great. For some reason, I don't know, call it just I'm being positive and being stupid, but I'd be happy if we come out with a series win out of it. I'm not saying a sweep, but get a couple games down there, do what you got to do, get back. It's a good time to get healthy after Arizona. And the as far as the pitching goes, with what we have coming up, Kluber is in the pen. That might do him some good, and Pivetta too. We have seen where guys will get sent into the pen, they work on a couple things and figure some shit out, and if an injury happens or whatever, they're back in the starting rotation and they're eating innings. So that's what I'm hopeful for. And don't hit the panic button. And for all you haters out there with Tristan Cassis, look at the damn numbers, look at May, look at what he's still doing, and then watch his at bats. He is getting better. That's what you want him to do. So enough with this crap of sending him down. That's my
And the
final.
change of approach too, because he has changed his approach a little bit as well. So the minor details are the big thing. So we're gonna wrap it up. Jason, thanks
Go
for joining
Celtics.
us. For Mr. Brown, for Jeremy, for Mr. Taylor, who's long gone, my name is Derek. Thanks for tuning in to Off the Monster, now officially presented by 37 Ronin, and we'll see you next time.